Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I will be checking out a redux track from Static Dress. At the time I'm filming this, the deluxe version of the album is out, and they've released some tracks with it that are redux off the original version of the album. And normally I don't cover stuff like that on the channel, but after listening through the ones they've released thus far, the one I'm about to cover being the last one from the deluxe edition, they have a really different sound to them, and not just like in a slowed down or different way. If you listen to the redux version of Dissenter, it sounds like a completely different song, but in a much different way than you'd expect from a redux track. So they did the same thing with Attempt 8, which was actually one of my favorite tracks on the record. Attempt 8 and Lie Solution were my top tracks off of this, so I'm really excited to see what this redux version will be like. I will link the music video along with all the band's promotional links, social media, anything related to the band that you may need in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Alright, one of my favorites on the record, top 2 track for me. I've listened to the original an obscene amount of times. Different lyrics? Oh. Totally unrecognizable at this part. Ooh, changing up the melody. Ooh. Oh. Got like almost the Wait, no, not another message. I've played straight into it. Static Dress, Attempt 8, the redux version featuring Sophie Meiers. Let's discuss. really interesting version of this track. There are new lyrics for it and such. I'm really glad I finally decided to do a video for one of the Redux tracks. After listening to the Dissenter Glitter version, I was pretty positive that for this one, when it dropped, I would make a video, because it's at the same as I mentioned towards the beginning, I think, of this one. It just sounds like an unrecognizable track. It doesn't sound like, you know, the same exact melodies used, just, you know, slowed down or anything like that. It feels like a new approach to tracks that I really enjoyed to begin with. So getting to hear some sort of alternate version of them that still has a lot of the stuff I really enjoyed about the original versions is something that I've really enjoyed throughout the release process for this. With this one being like an overall slower, sadder sound for this band, they did a great job of kind of incorporating something that kept that part of it. Like, it almost sounds like sort of a demo version of the guitar strumming and stuff, and then they bring in like this beat to it and stuff, and some of the synth work, and it gives almost some of the drums, like where it builds up to towards the end of the song. When it drops at that portion of the song, it almost has like that 80s feel in the beat that Hurt Wave gives and stuff, where it's like very obviously not 80s, but it's like that sound brought into things. So it's just not at all how you would expect it to sound given the original. I love that they changed up a little bit of the melodies too, because I always do that pause before overthinking it. So to have something new there, that also felt fresh to me. Of course, the parts that weren't even in the original did. Where it goes for the end of the track and the portions of the song that are reused, the way it's done just makes it also feel completely new. So for me, all of my favorite parts to sing along to are still in here. There are some new lyrics to learn. It's got that sort of spin on it where it's like a track that I loved to begin with, but it's a new version for me to get used to. So I think the sort of freshness to the track, it almost takes away a little bit of like that raw sadness that's in the original version, but still not quite. It's just a sad song, so that would be nearly impossible to do. Even the lyrics that were added into it or used, I don't know if they had like a few versions of this song and one made the record and one didn't. I'm not really sure in terms of the new lyrics and stuff, if that was something that was like didn't make the record, or they wrote it for this Redux version. Whatever the case is, I think it still keeps that like really sad mood for the song, but some of the sonic things that are introduced in this version on their own would be a little bit more upbeat, but somehow it just drives the sadness of the song further. So personally, a big fan of this. I loved this record as it was, but getting these reduxed versions that feel like there is so much detail in them and that they're so different from the originals, I really enjoy that, because it's easy to like release the same stuff, and you know, you want to keep the hype going from a record, and sometimes I think with bands they're able to have one member kind of rework instrumentation, put the same vocals over it and stuff, and kind of bring back some of the hype for the record. And everyone seems to have their ways of doing the deluxe versions or the re-release versions, but this has to be one of my favorites in terms of the same tracks being on the record but reintroduced, because these just feel like they have a ton of detail in them. So that is why I chose to cover a track on the channel that I've already covered. I think that it really does sound like a completely different song. So let me know which of the reduxed versions would be your favorite. That's going to be a hard call for me. This will be up there, but I've already listened to Dissenter a ton. I love that version of it. It really didn't. So where this, it does in some ways have like that, what you imagine a Redux song to sound like, at the same time with some of the synth and drums that I was talking about that are added in here. It's like not those parts of the song that are adding to, like, I guess what I'm trying to say here is like a lot of times on an album that when it's released, you know, this album Marisol and Attempt 8 are the slower tracks on it. They definitely have that like depressing sort of vibe to them, and typically but other than that, it's a pretty fast record. It's got a lot of very heavy moments in it, so typically when Redux comes to mind for something like that, you think of the same songs just kind of slowed down, or maybe it has a bunch of synth and reverb and such. But with this, there was a lot more to it. So if you haven't listened to the other Redux tracks off of this record, I would highly encourage you to do so. They are like brand new listens to the track, and I really liked that. This one was the same, and being one of my favorites off of the record, the bar was high, but it's still going to be up there with the original version for me. Picking between the two off the bat would be way too difficult. So I'm going to give this a bunch more listens and make up my mind from there. Let me know which Redux track was your favorite off the deluxe version, which is out now at the time I'm recording this. So you can go listen to the new version of the record. It has those same amazing songs from last year's release, plus some new versions to check out. So I will link all of the band's social media, promotional links, the music video I used, and the reaction portion of this. All that will be in the description of this video. Make sure to go give some I cannot speak. Once again, I say this like every day. I'm like, I can't talk today, but it's a reoccurring thing. Anyway, go give the band some love. If you enjoyed this release, leave a comment on the video that they uploaded, the official music video, all that sort of stuff. Other than that, you can also find my link tree in the description, which will have my Twitch channel, the Patreon, the Discord server invite link, any link you may need related to my channel. It'll be in that link tree in the description. I'm offering a bunch of various things on Patreon. There's still more stuff coming. We are in the middle of voting on our 2023 favorites right now, which is a little early, but we'll continue having polls through to December, where we make our final Patreon Rachel Reacts 2023 list. It'll be a group effort instead of me telling the Patreon all year what my list is and then having videos be essentially pointless that I do at the end. Instead, we're coming together to make a list of 2023 favorites for various topics. If you want to come check that out, there are a bunch of other things that I offer there, and my Twitch link will also be there. That is where I do all of my music related live streaming. I do request streams every Tuesday, and then I have some other streams that I'll be working in there as well. So if you want to see what those are, be notified when I go live, feel free to follow that Twitch link in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.